guys, today I want to talk about mistakes. The truth is we all make mistakes, but when they happen, we hate them. We often beat ourselves up, and I think that we miss the greatest opportunity to learn when we're not able to take our mistakes and grow from them, but instead spend so much time resenting them that we don't make any progress. So today I want to talk about the steps that you can take after you make a mistake. So many of you are probably wondering, what kind of mistakes am I talking about? The truth is we make mistakes in a lot of different areas, and the system and the strategy that I'm getting ready to share with you can be applied to any of them. It can be applied if you make a parenting mistake, or a mistake at work, or a mistake in your relationship, or a mistake when writing a book, or a mistake when going after a goal, or a mistake with eating. I mean, any way you can use this strategy, and it'll help encourage you to move forward and to grow from your mistake. So the first step with any mistake is to reflect on it. Ask yourself what happened and dig deep. Take some time to journal. Consider talking to a close friend to process. Ask yourself what decisions or choices or circumstances led up to the point where you made the decision that you made. The truth is we can't grow without reflecting, because if you make a mistake and you just move past it or ignore it or hold on to resentment, you're not giving yourself an opportunity to learn. When you reflect on your mistake, you open up the opportunity to see what went wrong and how you can learn from each of those experiences. Also, if you take a little bit of time and truly reflect, it gives you a more of an objective stance outside of the situation to hone in about the experience that you went through. The second step is to consider what this mistake means moving forward. Is your life truly over? Is it a mistake that you can learn from? Does it mean that something needs to change? Does it mean that this is a chance for you to learn from that mistake and now you have more insight? I know recently I made a huge mistake with the formatting of my book. It felt huge in the moment because I spent so much money, I spent so much time, so much effort, and I didn't notice until after I published. Now, the day of, I'm like, oh, this mistake is so terrible. I hate it. I can't believe I made this mistake. But in reality, it was really small. What that mistake meant moving forward is that I needed to pay attention to small details, and that when I'm in the process of dealing with a lot and overwhelmed with a lot of big projects, I can't rush the experience. I've also made a huge mistake when going through my divorce process, in the way in which I've communicated that with my children, in the way in which maybe I interacted with my ex, or the way in which I interacted or believed about what I believed about other people. Did that mean that my life was over? No, it meant that I made a mistake. It also meant that it was an acknowledgement on my part for me to reflect and say, hey, I made this mistake, but what can I do moving forward? And it allowed me an opportunity for growth. I share both of these examples because they're on both ends of the spectrum. There's pretty big mistakes we make, and then there's some that seem small. But sometimes when we're in it, they feel extremely overwhelming. They feel like you'll never recover. And when you allow yourself to believe that, you act as such. But when you put yourself in a position to say, what can I do with this mistake and how can I use this moving forward? You put yourself in a position to succeed, because you remind yourself that ultimately you're in control of what happens next. And what happens next is huge, right? Because you can choose to hold on to resentment, you can choose to be frustrated and then never progress past that, or you can choose to say, what can I learn from this and how can I position myself moving forward? When you take the stance of being in control, of having power, of making positive decisions, of reflecting and having a positive mindset about your choices, then you also put yourself in a position to learn and grow and mature from your mistake. And most importantly, you're continuing to build that resilience muscle, which we ultimately need for a lot of different situations that we'll go through life. Finally, the third step to be able to overcome your mistake is to recognize you're human and to forgive yourself. There is no person on this planet that is perfect. You could think of anybody you love. I mean, I love Oprah Winfrey. I think she is amazing. Pray and cross my fingers to be able to meet her, but Oprah ain't perfect. There is no person, no actor, nobody that you can think of, that even those that you admire, that are perfect. And in fact, some of the people that are perfect in our eyes are the very people that have made a lot of mistakes, but The difference between them is that they've used those mistakes as stepping stones to move forward. When we're able to acknowledge this and we're able to forgive ourselves and we're able to view ourselves as a human, we understand that mistakes will come. And instead of running from them or being resentful of them or being frustrated when they happen, we allow ourselves to say, this is happening, but what can I learn from it? On my personal development journey, I've come to such a place where I have learned to embrace my setbacks, where I've learned to allow for mistakes, because those are the very things that have allowed me to grow. And without my mistakes, without my setbacks, without those difficult circumstances or those difficult obstacles that come up in our life, we never grow stronger. Recently, I was out on a run and I accidentally took the wrong route. And so I just kept running, but I was frustrated because my run time was up and I was ready to get back home. And I'm not good with directions, so I felt lost. Instead of being frustrated with my mistake, I asked myself, what is it that I can experience during this run time and this walk time? What is it that I can learn from this? Why did I make this mistake? Well, there was a couple of things that I learned. I learned that I probably need to have some kind of phone or something in my hand to give me direction to get back. The second thing that I learned is sometimes taking routes that are off your typical route lead you to beautiful sights. And I ended up running into the most beautiful creek, and water is so therapeutic and relaxing for me. So what seemed like a tiny mistake really led to something that I enjoyed. And now on my regular walks and runs, I go past that area intentionally because of that one mistake I made. This little tiny story shows you how powerful it is to flip your mistakes, right? I could have been like, oh, my feet hurt because I was in a lot of pain. Or I could have been like, man, I'm running late. Or I can't believe I got sidetracked. Or I suck at directions. I understand why I'm just not good at it. And I could have gotten so consumed in the level of frustration from my mistake. But instead, I decided to maximize and make the most of that situation. And so I'm challenging you to do the same with all of those mistakes you've made, big, small, and in between. All right, guys, I will chat with you later.